All right, Safemoon Army, welcome to another Safemoon Sunday. I'm John, the CEO of Safemoon, and today I'll be joined by Ryan, our global head of product. Just bear with us while we get him up on the stage. All right, well, while we are waiting, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. So I'm John, again, CEO of Safemoon. Ryan will be joining us shortly. He is the global head of product, and welcome to another Safemoon Sunday. A lot of questions. It's been a couple weeks. A lot has happened in the past few weeks since my last Safemoon Sunday. So kind of diving into what I've been doing, and then we'll go into the product side of the house. So met with some amazing folks. I went to New York to go to NFT.nyc. Great conference, great city, but met a lot of good people, met a lot of good folks. Scott Paul being one of them. So he's been in the crypto industry for a little bit, has his own YouTube channel, does stuff with that. Met with some other people from, what are they called? I'm wanting to say Arctic, but it's anyway, another blockchain provider, as well as other large blockchain projects that are in the works. So whether it be staking, whether it be ways to leverage your NFTs, a lot of good stuff coming out from there. Then I traveled back to Utah, met with some great and amazing people. Dan from Zydex, one of our first, kind of adoption cases, big ones, as well as we're looking at doing some cool partnership opportunities with Zydex and Dan over there. And then also met with Brandon Fugel, who's an amazing person. So he's very prominent in the real estate market, as well as, if you're not familiar with the History Channel, the Skinwalker Ranch TV show. So anyway, a lot of great people. I sat across the table from some major titans of industry, and we were just talking about possibilities and with Safemoon and what Safemoon can do for the world. I also did an interview with CNBC a couple days ago, as well as an interview with Vice. And so those should be showing up here on the internet in the near future. So, and the highlight of this month for me is going to be giving my keynote at AIBC, where I'll be talking about building a blockchain innovation company in this current industry, and how to do essentially 7 years worth of work in 9 months. Hope you guys like it. Been working hard on it. So I'll see you guys all there. On top of that, AIBC is going to be a great conference because I will be meeting with a lot of folks that I've been talking to offline, and being able to meet them in person. It's going to be great. There's something to be said when you talk to someone via email or over the phone, or even face to face over Zoom, but actually being able to meet them in person, which is something that a lot of us haven't been able to do, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic. But it's nice to see things opening up again, and you being able to have those person-to-person interactions again. We also met with some major, how do I put it, NDA in place there. So from the regulatory side, we've met with some major partners of ours that also partner with other very large players within the industry. And so we have a very clear path forward on what we need to do in regards to the exchange and being in compliance across 167 different jurisdictions. So Lawyers are working on that. I'm going to kind of dive into that during this Safemoon Sunday. There's a specific question regarding, well, what do you mean by regulations? For us who aren't educated, who don't know, who don't deal with this day to day, what does that mean? So, all right, I'm going to start with 3 community questions, and then we're going to start bringing people up onto stage. Host, can you go ahead and get some people lined up? Appreciate it. All right. So, first question that I have is, and this comes from Discord, our Discord community. When will Safemoon start aggressively marketing its tokenomics wallet feature plans for the exchange again? Right now, we're in a build cycle. We did with the wallet, we marketed that, but right now we're in our secondary build cycle. And Ryan will kind of go into more details regarding that. So our focus right now for all of our resources, getting the products done, making sure the features are stable, getting them ready for launch. And then also from the exchange side, we don't want to start marketing until we had, which we do now, the strong plan for how to work within a regulated environment. For those of you who don't know about crypto, it's definitely 1999 internet era. We're just at the very precipice. We're at the very beginnings of what blockchain technology and blockchain-like technology can do for the world. Prime example of what it can do, and specifically when applying it to governments, is look at Estonia. It's a great case study of creating efficiency within inefficient bodies to grow or basically to increase efficiency. So they have stuff when it comes to healthcare, like your healthcare records. I believe we're on blockchain there, and same thing with for those of you in the United States, the DMV. Imagine if it ran on blockchain, how much faster and quicker it would be. So they're a great case study if you are looking into, hey, what does it look like when blockchain technology is integrated into a government? So the next question I got is, actually, this is kind of going into the regulated side. It has been mentioned that regulation is a big part of holdups, and Safemoon is trying to be as compliant as possible. Can you go into details of what are these regulations and why it takes so long? First off, anybody who's ever worked with the government, worked within the government, understands that it is one of the slowest moving things out there. So bureaucracy is something that you always have to deal with. So talking to the lawyer submits a filing, the filing gets done. And then it's on the regulator to then respond with A, you're good to go, or B, hey, this needs to be fixed. So it's that back and forth. And from our side, we're moving really fast. From their side, it can take, they say, oh, it'll be 3 to 6 weeks for you to, to hear back. We also have to go into when it comes to integrating fiat or currencies, dollars, pounds, stuff like that, into a wallet or into an application, there's compliance items that have to be checked off. One of them is AML, or anti-money laundering. And so we have to go through and make sure our structure, even down to how you display currencies on an application, or when I say application, I'm talking about the wallet app. How you display currencies on an app. It can't be on the same page as a cryptocurrency. It has to be on its own separate tab, separated by X amount of environment, whatever. And so we have to work through all those pieces. And one of those pieces is AML requirements. And then the other aspect is also KYC, know your customer. And those are things that have to be done they have to be done in certain jurisdictions, or in many jurisdictions, to include the United States, the United Kingdom, the EU, etc., for us to be able to integrate fiat on-ramp and also fiat off-ramp. And that's one of the key pieces and benefits of having an exchange, is the on-ramp and the off-ramp being there for people. So the other aspect is, because we are in 167 different countries, we have to make sure that we're filing properly in each one of those. And in a lot of cases, you can do what's called passporting, where if you file in country X, that filing passports or is considered valid, or a valid registration in country X. So there's reciprocity between a lot of jurisdictions, but it's making sure we have that all done and we have the plan rather than us shooting in the dark, we actually file in the major markets first, and the markets that have, and when I say markets, the countries that passport the best with each other. And so we have that plan on how to move forward in the most efficient way possible. So anyway, let's go ahead and get that's the last question that I have right now. Let's open it up to the floor. So we'll start with Gandalf.
Well, hello, John. Thanks for having me here. First of all, thanks you for all you bring for the community while remaining calm and confident. For me, especially being a moderator in Scotland in this space, talking, actually just showing what you're providing the community and all the crypto space is inspiring. And you're always true to your word. Please, please, please stick to that. You're doing a great job. First of that. I have a question, and this is a more specific question for myself. What do you expect from the audience on the stage next week when you're presenting your keynote? What do you want the world to know from Safemoon and the ecosystem after they experience your presentation?
So this is kind of a theme, and I did touch on it with my interview with both CNBC and Vice. Is the most important asset any project, any company can have is their people. And that expands further from just like the employees and the team that you have. That's also the community, your users. That's your most valuable asset. And you can't just shove a product down someone's throat and say, hey, this is amazing, and just throw marketing at it. No, it actually has to be amazing. So, and then the other aspect is building trust in an industry that talks about, oh, we're trustless. It's an interesting concept, but most people, especially mainstream, and they don't really go for that. If you have a company, like, nobody would ever drive a Tesla if they didn't trust Tesla. You see what I mean? Nobody would ever drive Ford if they didn't trust Ford.
Makes
or
sense.
Chevy or GMC. Please, truck people, I'm not trying to start a war. So nobody would drive a truck, nobody would drive a vehicle if they didn't trust that the vehicle was the vehicle. So building trust in a trustless industry is very important. And don't be afraid to put your face behind your project. If you're confident in what you're doing, don't hide behind a keyboard. If you really want to grow, if you really want to expand, make sure people know who you are and what you stand for.
Exactly. That makes brilliant sense. And I have another question, which might be a little bit specific, but you might know what I wanted to ask. So, as I know, people get nervous, right, when they have to wait. And a lot of people in the community are getting very nervous, and they see another day, no V2, another day, no news and infos. And I tend to tell the people that innovation needs time. They have to wait, because when they wait, they will just get great things, right? Can you just shed some light on the actual process of V2 and possibly the exchange? Because a lot of people, even from Twitter here, who are every day in the Twitter spaces, actually wanted to not maybe just get a hard date, because they actually understood that hard dates in an innovative space just doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
But they want to get some kind of estimation, because people want to participate and go into these kind of, I would say, directions where they can just be prepared for it, right? Especially, for example, for the fees and BSC, and being prepared to just take the right moment and just swap over.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I'll talk about the stuff that I'm having to do for the regulatory items. I had to fly back to London to go meet in person physically with these people to have a conversation. So it does involve a lot of logistics as well. So it's not like, oh, where's John going? Well, it's to go meet with people. So a lot of these items do require face-to-face. It's also a lot of whiteboarding. There's a requirement that pops up, and we have to whiteboard out how it works. So what's the requirement? It's like, okay, AML requirement. All right, how do we, with our current structure, be in compliance with this AML document or this AML thing that they want us to do? All right, let's whiteboard it out. Okay, we have to set up an entity over here, register it there, create a corporation in that country, passport it over, then file a whatever form in this other country, and then that way we have reciprocity between the two. And so all of this stuff has to be planned out. Then I have to hand that off to the lawyer or to the lawyers, depending on which jurisdiction we're working in. And then I hand it off to them. They're going to have questions. So they come back with like, well, okay, so we understand what you want. What's the purpose of it? Well, and I'm like, okay, great. this is the purpose of why we need to do this. They're like, great. Well, actually, based on our experience and based off this research that we just did for this, based, on some certain case law, this is what we need to do instead. I'm like, great. All right, back to the whiteboard. So team gets together. So the team that's working on the regulatory and the compliance stuff, team gets back together. We have either a Zoom call or we have a Google Meet call, and then we have, or if I'm here, we meet in person, and then we whiteboard it again. And so there's a lot of those aspects that come into play where there is an iterative process, whether it be from the legal compliance standpoint, or whether it be from, hey, do we want to communicate this right now? How sure are we that this specific launch date is going to be good to go? What we found is better is that we just release it when it's ready.
Yes.
And, this is crypto moves very, very quickly. I joke with everyone I meet, when I meet with other folks from other industries, while they're very successful in their industry, they don't really understand crypto. They're like, well, you guys move at such an astronomical pace. I'm like, no, that's just the pace of business in crypto. 1 quarter in crypto is a week long. So we have to move very quickly. But, a lot of people don't understand that getting stuff done in 1 week is really difficult to do. Getting stuff done in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, getting a wallet out, getting more features added on, hitting 700,000 users, and being at where we're at right now in under 3 months. There's most other companies can't even dream of doing something like that. But the reason why we've been able to do that is because, one, this was hard and it was a difficult decision and we took a lot of heat for it, but a restructure needed to happen. We needed a solid foundation to where we could innovate and continue to innovate at the speeds that we do, and also scale the company at that same speed. So we had to do a restructure. We then had to make sure from Ryan's side, our tech stacks were good to go. And we were building technology the right way, building the technology where we have a solid foundation where we can just keep adding floors and the foundation isn't going to crumble. And so we had to set up both of those things. And so you did see a little bit of a slowdown. And when I say slowdown, it was 2 weeks. 2 weeks. In the grand scheme of things, 2 weeks. Most people wait longer to order stuff online. Now, I'm excluding Amazon, 2-day delivery, 1-day delivery. But most people who order stuff online wait longer for that. So 2 weeks is a very short amount of time for us to do what we've done and what we continue to do. So I will also like to say, please have patience while we work through these very technical processes in a brand new innovative market. Remember, this is 1999 internet stage. There's no roadmap for this. We're barely beginning to unearth what blockchain technology can do. And if we find a new use or something crazy that we can do, we're going to do it. And it might delay a product by a few weeks or by a couple months. In the grand scheme of things, that's not a big deal, especially in the tech industry. How many video games that of got delayed, a year, 2 years? I can name many of them, and I now feel their pain when it comes to a delay and how that feels from there. And I'm like, okay, I bet they wanted to get the product out, but they had to delay it. But with Safemoon, we make sure we do things the right way. We want it to go out in a proper manner, and we want to make sure it's something that adds, value to either quality, security, or accessibility.
That makes absolute sense. Thanks for that. And I see Ryan is on stage. I don't know if it's too early, but I would have a technical question regarding future possibility of multi-wallets. If you're up for this, Ryan?
Yeah. Hey, guys. How's it going? So look at this. Requested it 5 times. And look, even Twitter has bugs. Imagine that.
I know that.
A company with endless funding can't even send over a request to Safemoon for them to accept my request. So that goes to show.
I just know the last 2 times I tried to be on stage and nobody just saw my hand up. So I'm glad that I'm here just at the first place now.
So great to see everybody. Great to hear from your hear from you, Gandalf. And I'll answer your question. As far as the multi wallets, we're done with that feature.
Well, that's great. Well, that's
Absolutely.
a specific question I would need your answer for, because in Spaces there are a lot of things I could just explain to that, but that's more like a feature for the future, right? So we have the reflection tracker, which works great now after the update. I just tried to explain to some people just how to fix that when they have like wrong numbers in it. But some people for a long time now request and ask if when the multi-wallet features there, and you, for example, have 5 wallets integrated in the multi-wallet, if there's some kind of possibility you could have an overview window of all the reflections. For example, if you have Safemoon in different wallets, which distributes and shows how much you in total have in reflections, or just a screen which shows in which wallet you're actually gaining reflections, like distributing an information in a panel where you just can click on it, rather than just switching between wallets.
Yeah, we can add it to the list, Ryan.
I think Ryan just went into the blockchain.
Yeah, we'll wait for him to return.
Yeah. So I would just go off the stage. Thank you very much. Exactly. Also, thank you, John, for answering that quite for the exchange of V2, because I know that this is very important for a lot of people. But thanks for what you're doing.
Appreciate it, Gandalf. You have a good day.
You too.
All right, Tristan.
Pleasant good day, everyone. Tristan, all the way from Trinidad and Tobago. First of all, thank you guys for actually bringing me up here. And thank you guys for actually playing a part in terms of my education coming into cryptos. Safemoon was the first token I ever bought, did my research, and I love. Right? I appreciate all the hard work that you guys have been doing. And my first question is for the Safemoon Hong. Ryan, when you tweeted like 2 days ago and you said, we want V2, in fact, you will get a beefed up V2 at no cost of Safemoon to consolidate. Could you expand and elaborate on that a little for me kindly, please?
Yeah, so it looks like, Ryan, there's some bugs going on with the Twitter space. So, real quick. So with the V2, yes, we beefed it up. Specifically in regards to that, when you migrate over to V2, you won't be taking that 10% hit. So it will be that, 1 to 1,000 going across. So that's happening. We also wanted to add, and this is more of just from our end, because, as I say before, this is definitely like being in, 1999 internet, right? Just getting its legs underneath it. Brand new, innovative, emerging tech space. Where if we need to add additional things, or if, there's this untapped innovation, we're able to integrate it into Safemoon in a seamless process where we never have to really go through this massive migration process again. And we don't have to go through this massive, all these logistics. It's more of a, hey, here's an update. It's going to be great. Here's what it looks like. Done. So it's being able to innovate for the future, and also being able to adapt to both knowns and the unknown unknowns. Now, what do I mean by that? There's stuff that happens within this industry, and the prime example would be the when PancakeSwap upgraded to their version 2 of their swap. A lot of people who renounced ownership, locked liquidity with partners that don't know how to migrate or don't have the ability to migrate, etc. They weren't planning for the future, got left on V1 or had issues going to V2. Safemoon's always planning for the stuff that we can't predict. So we have contingency plans. We have everything that we build. We have the ability to, meet those unknown unknowns and be able to adapt and overcome a situation that arises. Again, we're focused on the long term. Now, when it comes in regards to more of the specifics of those beefy features, when we get Ryan back up, he can definitely dive in. I'll make a note of that right now. So,
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. One more thing I want to say. First of all, congratulations to you, Ryan, and the team, those who have been a member of. You guys are veterans, and we appreciate everything you guys have done. I don't know if in the future, seeing that you guys have a lot on all your plate right now, and we want you guys to focus solely on that. Good luck tomorrow, please God, when you deliver in front of everyone. I know you're gonna ace it. You're gonna take your time and execute everything to perfection. I know you have a good team surrounded you, and you know you have a good community backing you 100%. I don't know if when you guys got time, you guys can take a look into Enhanced 22 Spaces for Veteran Health Awareness. That's something like, you know, you guys have probably have colleagues that serve with you all who suffer with long-term diseases. You guys can probably, you know, take a look at it. And by the way, thanks very much. Keep up the good work, and we're supporting you all the way in the small dot Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Thanks again.
Hey, thank you, Tristan. Thank you.
Much appreciated. Thank you for the support. All right, so I'm back. Looks like
All right.
Twitter
Crypto
muted me.
Eons, how are you today?
Holy crap. I am fired up, John. How are you doing today?
I'm always fired up.
And I love the Safemoon army. I'm seeing everybody on here. I'm so glad Safemoon Joe is doing better. John, you guys are crushing it, man. You are an amazing CEO, and I see what you're doing with Safemoon. I see what you're doing with the team. Got to give you props on that. Question, I want to go into the realm of e-commerce, okay? Because crypto, the number one thing everyone asks you when they're like, well, hey, why do you believe in Safemoon, right? What's its utility? And I know you guys are expanding and have utility in the works that we don't even know. But when it comes to e-commerce, because I look at it as, hey, I've invested in Safemoon, I'm building it, I'm all in on crypto, right? I think I want to get away from fiat. Are there any e-commerce partnerships that you can announce that you're working with? And if not, what the future looks like for e-commerce? And are you trying to more make Safemoon a conglomerate, or are you more looking for partnerships with others that already have that platform set up?
Well, first off, thank you for the question. E-commerce is something that we look at heavily. Zydex PCs is probably one of the first ones that accept crypto. You know, Dan, very innovative person, very forward thinking. So that was one of the first adoption cases. So they do accept crypto. But yes, with V2, there was a heavy focus, and this is one of one of the beefy features that we were talking about is being able to integrate Safemoon into. It's easier for people to integrate V2 Safemoon into an e-commerce platform or into an e-commerce application or use case with our V2 version. And so, yes, we are heavily focused on e-commerce as one of the use cases of Safemoon. But in regards to utility and other questions, Safemoon already has a utility. First off, you know, store of value is always utility. Second, it is the, you know, lifeblood of Safemoon. And when I say that, what I mean is it runs our swap, it runs our liquidity pool, and our liquidity pool actually ties into two different, what I would say, swaps. You have the web swap, where for those who don't want to use the app, they're able to use the web swap through Trust Wallet or MetaMask. And then we have the in-app swap. We also have some other, I would say, products coming out here very shortly that Ryan's working on that Safemoon integrates heavily into, and is that, you know, lifeblood. It is that better analogy. You got a train track, Safemoon token, V2 is the rails, and then you put the train carts on top of that, and those are kind of like the products and features. It all runs on the Safemoon track, but you have different products on top. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Got it. Thank you, John. I appreciate the privilege to talk.
Thank you. All right, now we're going to go back into the submitted questions. So the next one that I have is, in regards to, does the team mind if the community or third party develop projects that could help burn rate, etc., and what route we should follow to inform Safemoon, the company, about what we have developed? So when it comes, basically, I have one rule: don't mislead, and that's actually for anyone. Don't mislead people. You know, if you can't say something, say you can't talk about it. Yeah, I do it all the time. Even with CNBC and Vice, I said, no, I can't really talk about that. Sorry. They're like, well, sorry, I can't really talk about that. Don't mislead. So don't go out and say, hey, we're affiliated with Safemoon when you're not. That is the fastest way for us not to work with you and just to completely ignore the existence. You know, approach us, talk to us. Now, does your, if you want an endorsement or if you want us to acknowledge an affiliation between the two of us, you know, one, are you meeting the Safemoon standard? Are you providing more quality? Are you providing more accessibility? And are you providing more security for the Safemoon army, for the Safemoon users? If you're not providing those things, we won't partner with you, or we won't, you know, be officially affiliated with that project. So again, our commitment is to the Safemoon army, is to the Safemoon users, and you know, as long as you share that same commitment, I don't see any issues with that. You know, it's the beauty of DeFi. You guys can create a project. Whether or not we officially affiliate with you or not is a whole different ballgame. So the next question I have comes from Twitter, actually. So, and it's involving the Safemoon Wallet swap and exchange. When the Safemoon Wallet goes live, will there be a 10%, 2%, or even better, 0% tax? Well, that's the beauty of V2, is the ability to traverse our platforms within our ecosystem without having to pay a 10%. You know, the 10% was very good. It was very basic. However, you know, with the future in mind, we have to be more comprehensive. It's not, just like Ethereum gas fees, I think is probably like a prime example of that. It should not cost you $200 to send $2 to someone. You know, it defeats the purpose of sending that $2. You know, you can't really use it to pay your friends back for dinner if, you know, you're paying $200 in gas fees and the dinner was $40. So that's the beauty of V2. We're thinking forward, we're thinking of the future. With V2, the migration process is significantly easier. And it's not even a migration. The transfer process to, hey, I'm going to send something to grandma. Okay, here you go. Oh, I'm going to transfer to one of my wallets. Well, there you go. Or I'm going to the Safemoon exchange. I'm going from the decentralized area over to the centralized area. I don't think I should pay a 10% tax on that. You know, we're adding more comprehension, and we're adding more features and usability of Safemoon, and a more comprehensive usability of Safemoon with the version 2 of the contract. So hope that answers that question. Hey, host, I'm going to answer one more submitted question. Let's get some more people up on stage. All right. So people are asking, how close are we to version 2 of the Safemoon wallet? And they're said #dark mode. This came from Facebook. Well, UI is pretty much done. We just got to finish out a few different things. Ryan will talk about that more. And then dark mode. I love dark mode. So dark mode, you know, Ryan will talk about the dark mode there. All right.
Can you see me?
Safemoon Soldier, how are you today?
Hello?
I'm doing very well. Good afternoon, sir. Pleasure to be with you.
Pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually had 3 quick questions, if that's okay with you.
Send it.
Awesome. Thank you. One thing I've been vocal about is the effects of different pairings not contributing to the project, and Gandalf and a few others have assured me saying have no worries, it's not going to be an issue much longer. And I've had a few people tell me that V2 actually has the capabilities of changing that, because I was under the assumption that couldn't be controlled until we were on our own blockchain and just one coin across all boards. So my first question is, how will V2 change the effect of pairings contributing to the project, or is that not until the blockchain? And then question number 2 is there a possibility of having a staking option with Safemoon with the exchange? And then number 3 is also on the exchange, is there a possibility of having the availability of borrowing against our Safemoon instead of selling it? Thank you. I greatly appreciate it.
All right, we'll start with the top one. And there was actually an SEC case regarding another large crypto exchange. Borrowing or lending is a regulated activity, so I won't really comment on that. When we meet the criteria to provide a feature, we'll add the feature. But until then, we won't do it. In regards to staking, so staking, you put your X crypto in and you let it sit there, and then you gain more crypto back. Well, with Safemoon, if you hold it, you get more Safemoon. So while we will have, there could be a staking aspect there. Safemoon's an automatic yield protocol essentially. So you automatically get more Safemoon just by holding it. Well, let me be very specific. You automatically get more Safemoon when you hold on chain. When you're off chain, that's a different ballgame. And when I say off chain, that's centralized exchanges that the transactions that take place happen on an order book, not on the blockchain, if that makes sense. So if you're on chain and you hold Safemoon, you will get more Safemoon based on the volume, reflections, and all the other mathematics that go into play. And then your first question was regarding the pairings. I'm not sure where you're going with this specific question. However, I'll try to answer and see if I hit the mark. When you're talking about bridging to other blockchains and being on chain, each blockchain has their own different characteristics that we have to work with. Every pairing contributes to Safemoon, whether it be indirectly or directly. So the more accessible that Safemoon is, the larger the Safemoon army grows. So we can even take this from a word of mouth aspect of it. You know, someone's holding on an exchange, they have Safemoon, they're talking to their friends about Safemoon. Well, more people know about Safemoon. So regardless of the pairings, the pairing still assists Safemoon both in its direct mission and its indirect mission.
Okay, understandable. I greatly appreciate your time. Yeah, pretty much the question was leading to, you know, I've experienced, you know, myself and others have experienced, you know, with the pairings, these BNB tokens that we hold, you know, and then they get listed on other exchanges as USDT pairings. You don't see the price action on the BNB side. And I was kind of under the assumption that it really didn't contribute to the burn or to the liquidity also. I mean, I know they have to actually purchase that liquidity, you know, at some point from somewhere.
Yeah.
I guess just as a community, we're not sure if that's purchased on PancakeSwap.
Any pairing helps Safemoon. So any pairing does help Safemoon. You know, as I said before, both directly and indirectly in regards to, well, it might not contribute to the burn because that's a limitation of the platform, the exchange. It does contribute in other indirect ways. One, it's more accessible to people. People are able to then participate with Safemoon. While they might get, like if they use an exchange that doesn't do tokenomics, for example, they might be able to get their exchange, they might be able to get their Safemoon on that exchange. They might not be participating in tokenomics, but then they're going to be like, okay, let me do some more research into Safemoon. Oh, these tokenomics, what are these? You know, oh, automatically if I go on chain, if I take my Safemoon, transfer it to the Safemoon wallet, and go back on the chain or back onto the Binance Smart Chain, I can then participate in a greater fashion in decentralized finance. Well, I'm going to do that. Well, now you have a new holder who, one, was able to enter into crypto in frankly, an easier fashion, because DeFi is rather complicated for mainstream audiences and people who are not as technically versed as a lot of us. So they're able to start participating in crypto. And so now they're participating in crypto. Now they're going over to the DeFi space. Now they're going on chain, and now they're participating in the way Safemoon was intended. You know, while they might have started off on an exchange that didn't have tokenomics, they are now back on with the rest of the Safemoon army, the rest of the 2.88, so almost 2.9 million holders that we have. They are now that 2.9, 01 holder. They are now participating with the rest of the group because they were allowed the ability to start in a very simple fashion and move to the more complex. Now that accomplishes one, another person to the Safemoon army. Two, it educates someone on cryptocurrency, on blockchain technology. Blockchain technology should be as common knowledge as tying your shoe. It should be as common knowledge as, how do you wash the dishes at home? Don't put soap on this, etc. It needs to be as common knowledge as that. And so it accomplishes both the Safemoon specific mission of educating someone. They now understand DeFi. They now understand the benefits of going back on chain. They go on chain, and now we have someone participating in the normal way. And two, you now have a newly educated person on blockchain, spreading the word that blockchain is the future, and also talking about what it can do. So the benefits are there, regardless of the pairings.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the explanation. It's been an honor to speak with you. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for everything you do for Safemoon, the community, and the world, sir. It's an absolute honor to be a part of this. And thank you for having me today. I did have one person send me a message, and your good friend PM69
Oh
says,
my,
"Why, sir?"
no, tell the demon to go away.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be with you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to see Twitter is having some bugs when it comes to getting Ryan back up on stage. 1 second. Let me shoot this message off.
Can you hear me now?
Host, can we get some more people up on stage while we wait to get Ryan back on?
Can you sign out?
And while we wait, I will go into another question. All right, so this comes from Facebook. Can we get clarification on how partnered exchanges will consolidate? Now, that depends on each one of the exchanges. I'm still talking with them on their specific processes of how to consolidate. But those who work with us and those who will consolidate, will have a way forward, and each one is going to be a tailored solution. So I'll leave it at that. When V2, when it's ready. But as I said before, it is imminent. Let's see. So they just made me a co-host. I apologize. 1 second. See, even large platforms have bugs. All right, for those of you who were on that Satoshi Street Bets AMA with me, I'm going to do it that style. We're just going to keep going. Okay, how will the buyback and burn from swap go to V2 because it was not live at V1? Will the buyback and burn I was collected go all back to V2 or step by step? Everything's being migrated. That's the simple answer to that. Everything's being migrated to V2 for the token. So that's why we take the time. It's why we take the time for this innovation, for this rollout, and we don't release it until it's ready. So here's another question, comes from Facebook. When V2 comes out, what happens if I don't immediately migrate? What's the benefit of an early adopter, and how does the team plan on pushing holders to move to V2? One, we're not going to push anyone to move. It's highly recommended, as that's the specific token that we will be working with. V1 will not be supported when it comes to the other innovations and the other products that come out. So in order to participate with the wider ecosystem of Safemoon, V2. So in V2, we focus on quality, accessibility, and security, and being able to have a strong foundation to continue to build, our proverbial train on the train track that is our V2. So, okay, this one comes from Discord. They're asking about the merchandise. When is the new merchandise coming out? It's called here. All right, so new merchandise will be coming soon. We changed manufacturers. A lot of people don't know that the supply chain was really screwed up and had a lot of issues when COVID-19 hit. And it wasn't necessarily because of the supply chain. It was just all the restrictions that came down, and everyone reacting, and a lot of companies transitioning over to the relief effort. And then now we're in this process of transitioning back. So we got a new manufacturer. We have some new designs that are coming out. I'll tweet about it later. I have tweeted about it in the past, and those will be dropping here imminently. So I know it's cold. We're working on the hoodies. They will be released. They're asking about Netflix. When Safemoon Netflix documentary? So We have, honestly, so on my personal device, I have over 2 terabytes of footage that go all the way back to the beginnings of Safemoon, like very early stages when I'm still back in the States before I came to London the first time. So we have all this footage. We continue to have footage of our journey, of the Safemoon journey, and we're just working out how that would look, who would be the one to film it going forward. If you give it over to a studio, you lose a lot of the creative rights. So, it's working those items out. And then also the logistics of how do you have a camera crew follow someone like me around who has to pop all over the globe on a moment's notice if something happens. Prime example, I had to pop over to London. Now are you fucking...
I'm on now, guys. Can you guys hear me? So it sounds like Twitter's having some major issues tonight. If you guys can hear me. John, can you hear me?
I could hear you, Ryan.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's going back and forth between the both of us, and it's blocking out the our audio. So if you guys can hear me, it sounds like John's having maybe now technical issues. So I think he's getting switched off now. If we have another question, love to hear another question.
Hey, Ryan, do you mind if I ask a question?
That'd be perfect. Go right ahead.
Hey, thanks for letting me speak. I had no idea that I'd be able to speak, so this is a huge surprise. So thank you so much for that. I have one question, and then I have a message for you and the team. My question is, many of us that have been in Safemoon for many months are your biggest spokespeople. In our jobs, in our lives, we talk about Safemoon. We try to help people understand, what Safemoon is and what Safemoon will be. So my question is, if you were there in our shoes, could you speak to the fundamental differences between V1 and V2? If you were to speak to someone and help them explain what that is, if you could give me that. And then my message to you guys, and this is something I spoke to Gandalf and some of the other guys in the space, Safemoon has given hope to so many people, including myself. I mean, we have guys that have been through the financial crisis and many other events where it's pretty much locked their futures. And Safemoon, for a lot of us and a lot of these people, have given so much hope, regardless of what happens. Just the potential for a more flexible future and freedom has been monumental. So thank you guys for all your work.
Definitely. I think John did speak to this a little bit, but I would say this: V2, if you want to think about it, anytime you build a smart contract, right, and you deploy it on the network, what happens is typically you have a basket of goods. And what I mean by that is it might burn a certain way. There might be fees that get sent over to this wallet. You might have a mixture of tokenomics. You might have specific ways that you mint the tokens, right? So whenever you launch a smart contract for the first time or you deploy it, typically that smart contract, once it's deployed, it's deployed for good and it can't be changed, right? It's immutable. So what we've done with V2 is, well, if we're going to consolidate the Safemoon, like we're doing from V1 to V2, so we're consolidating basically the size of the bag that you hold. It's the same value. But if we're going to consolidate that, we might as well add more features that allow us to work with other bigger companies. So this allows us to make better partnerships, right? So say, for example, if you launch a smart contract or you deploy it and you didn't think about maybe that one company, maybe, say just for example, Starbucks comes along and says, hey, we would love to work out a program with you guys where we can people can purchase coffee and they can use Safemoon to do it. Well, if you're thinking ahead, you want your smart contract to be flexible enough so that you can work out some kind of partnership within your transactions and your fees with that company, right? So V1, specifically when you're launching a product for the first time, entrepreneurs don't really think about these this long-term vision in that sense. They don't think about the things and the mechanisms that come into play that have to be there so that you're ready and prepared for when that day comes. That's why you have V2, V3. That's why you have these smart contracts that end up changing down the line. Because if you want to scale, you want to be more flexible, you want to scale, and you want to work with bigger companies, you have to have that in place. So that gives you a little bit of a that gives you a little bit of a feel of kind of what the difference is where we're going with V1 to V2.
I am back. So I got hit with the bug, went back to the blockchain. Now I'm back. Yeah, Ryan, I can't agree more. It's about being able to iterate and also being able to be flexible to, with these partnerships that, we have coming on board with the people that we want to work with, that we have this strong foundation, not only from the company side, like employee, personnel, processes, but also from the tech side. We have a strong foundation where we can continue to build and grow. And so that's been one of the major focuses.
Well, and that's usually not a thing, right? Yeah. Whenever you launch a smart contract for the very beginning, that's not really a thing. You're not thinking about the bigger partnerships. You're not thinking about that flexibility of, hey, there's, these other cryptocurrency companies that we want to work, partnerships with, or, when we scale and we have 2.6 million users, or holders, how do we use that in a way that doesn't block us from working with other chains or other brands or things of that sort. So that's why typically you have this offshoot and have a V2 later on. So just to answer that question, we're thinking long term.
Yeah, excellent. John, if you don't mind, can I ask you one question and then I'll step down? Thank you guys so much. The question's for John. Where do you see Safemoon in 5 years? Thank you, guys.
How do I answer that without giving away the cookies? A very large ecosystem is probably the easiest way to put it. That provides a high quality.
Hey, don't give away the cookies.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. An ecosystem that provides a high quality, accessible, and secure experience for people who want to participate and use blockchain technology, whether it be at a macro level, when you're talking about a macro Internet of Things, or whether it be, sending grandma or paying grandma back for, dinner the other night. It's this massive ecosystem that can support both the micro and the macro level events that take place on a blockchain.
Excellent. Thanks so much. I almost got you. Thanks.
Hey, Ryan, let's we're coming up on time. Let's go ahead and kind of go into a quick wallet and V2 update.
Yeah, sounds good. So right now, can you guys hear me okay?
I got you.
Cool. So far we have the multi-wallets completed on our end. That's exciting. Everyone's been asking for that. That's in QA currently. We also have the import private key completed. We also have the import 24 seed phrase completed as well. So all of this is in QA right now. And that's in QA with all of the reflection tracker stuff we have. So people are like, well, I know when we launched the reflection tracker, some people were like, well, it's not working on this device or specific devices. This is something, and I want to get this across to everybody listening, is that we're in Web3.js. This is an emerging it's emerging technology. And basically what that means is there's very little documentation out there. So when we push something like a reflection tracker, people say, well, it works on this site. Well, on another site that you guys are working on with reflections trackers, those only go back for 30 days. And they're not very accurate. So we went above and beyond to go back from the very beginning from when you bought Safemoon on that wallet address and to actually make it accurate as it can possibly be by deducting all of your deposits for that address. So that's why we went above and beyond. Never really done before like the way that we've done it on app and on Swift. So these are the things that we're going as explorers, right? As pioneers, we're going out and we're taking the extra step to ensuring that we're doing something different that's never been done on Swift before, like the way that we've done it. So there's going to be some, improvements that need to be made, right? People are like, oh, it's not perfect. But you know what? Over time, as we improve, and we did it in 2 weeks, it will be. So these things take time. Emerging tech takes time. And there's going to be some things that people are going to realize that, oh, well, this needs to be fixed. This is not your standard TikTok app. It's not your standard Facebook app. Some of these bigger companies are very, very well funded, and even they don't have wallets yet. And there's a reason for that, because it's very meticulous work. It's very tedious work. And we're a small team. We're agile. We're able to move really quickly. But people need to remember that in emerging tech, because there's not as much documentation and community, a lot of it is experimentation. So the great part, or I think the best thing that we have to our advantage right now is the community, because people reach out and they say, hey, maybe this wasn't working so well, and then we have such a great community that help out, and then they make our products better, faster. So something to think about. All right. Can everyone hear me? Put up the respect or 100 emojis if you guys can hear me. All right, there we go. Okay, so Twitter's having some major issues tonight, guys. Really apologize for that. I would love to have another person up to ask another question while we get John back in here. So if anyone wants to ask a question, just raise your hand and we'll call on you. All right, so waiting for someone now. I think John's coming back here in a bit. All right, looks like we got Martin.
Hello, yeah, hi there. Welcome from Scotland. Hey guys, I really appreciate what you're doing. I've got one question. It's just curious because you keep mentioning you guys are a tech company, which I really agreed. Do you think, like maybe in the future, you see yourself putting a IPO?
I mean, that's always on the table.
I can answer that. I can answer that. So we're not there yet. So we're not going to discuss IPO stuff even to begin with. So.
Right. Okay. Yeah, sure. No worries. How's the Gambia going? Because I've not heard anything so far.
Great. It's under NDA.
Right. Okay. Right. See you later, guys. Cheers.
I appreciate your questions. Sorry, just there's stuff that we can't talk about, and if somebody has me sign an NDA, I'm going to definitely respect it. And that's one thing that people need to make sure they're taking consideration is, while B2C is very important, maintaining trust in B2B is also important as well. And if you work with a business partner or you work with a partnership or have a partnership, it's a trust-based relationship. They need to be able to trust you, and you need to be able to trust them.
Yeah,
no worries. So not violating NDAs is very important in maintaining that.
Yeah. Sorry, just remind myself. I did have one cheeky idea for the wallet. I don't know if that came across. I don't know if I should spoil this or not. It was about the Lambo. Did you hear anything from you managing director from LinkedIn? Or it was community manager. I don't know what was her name.
I'm not sure what you're talking about in this circumstance.
Right. So I did text her about the one feature about the Lambo. So let's say you've got a feature in the wallet, and let's say you've got a price of Lambo, because people keep asking when's Lambo, when's Ambo. So let's say you've got a price of the Lambo, and depends how much you've got the amount on your wallet, let's say crypto or your money, then takes the price of the Lambo and it shows you how much you need to get more to get a Lambo, something like that. Did you mention anything like this?
I mean, it's an idea.
It's like something like a win Lambo feature,
It sounds like a very fun idea. Sounds like a very fun idea.
Right. Okay. Take care, guys. I love what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Martin.
All right. So Ryan, Wallet, we have a new update that'll be coming. You've got all the features that you were talking about working on. You've multi-wallet, 24 passphrase, importing private key directly. V2, Ryan, a little bit about that. Where are we at? I believe we're in the final kind of QA process internally with that.
Yeah, so we're V2 contract's already done. So we're just QAing, but the main thing that we're working on right now is to make sure that it's seamless for all of the users. We don't want users to come in and start getting really happy and start swapping V2, and then everyone's asking questions, not knowing what to do. We're trying to make the interface very, very simple, where you just have a consolidate your Safemoon button. You click consolidate. It auto fills the tokens for you, and then you just press swap, and you can swap from V1 to V2. That's how simple we're going to try to make it on the app. And then on WebSwap, obviously, we're going to have an option there as well, so that people on WebSwap can swap that over. And then if they want to, they can connect their Trust Wallet through Wallet Connect, and or other apps, or I should say dApps. They should be able to connect it that way as well. So we'll be able to get a large blanket over all of the users that have SafeMoon with different apps too.
Yep. So to summarize, V2's done. Third party that we need is done. We're in the final QA process, and we're just finalizing the seamless migration. We're simplifying it down. That is the status of V2. So when we say imminent, we mean imminent.
Yeah. And we want to make sure we do that right? Because it's all ready to rock and roll, but we want to make sure that we have a good experience for the users, because the worst thing that can happen is, someone not getting the memo and then swapping something for something else, thinking that they're getting V2 and they ended up getting something else. So just trying to look out for the users and make sure that we provide a good user experience.
Well, and with SafeMoon, as you heard one of the speakers that earlier today, that this was their first experience into cryptocurrency. And so while it might be easier for you to migrate, you understand how to use a dApp, you understand how to calculate the consolidation or whatever. We have to build this to where grandma can also migrate with everyone else. We don't want to leave anyone out. Remember, it's about accessibility, quality, and security. And we're working on that accessibility factor when it comes to upgrading to the version 2 of SafeMoon.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
So, and then great wallet features coming in. You have your product, the other products that you're working on, those are well underway. We talked about the regulatory aspect and how we have a very clear path forward, and we're already beginning to move. There's already filings happening. These aren't even conversations. We're finalizing these partnerships with, these are the same people that the very, very big players use in the industry for their regulatory compliance. Well, we're partnered with the same people. So we've got a great team, we've got great partnerships, and we have the solid path, the solid way forward for the compliance aspect. The tech side, and Ryan, you agree with me on this, is much easier than the regulatory compliance stuff. So, we've got a very solid foundation, a very solid way forward to get this done in a quick and efficient manner.
Yeah. And globalization of languages as well. We're well underway on that. We're on the tail end of that, actually. So just a few other things that we're buttoning up with that. And then we're going to have 13 plus languages on the app as well. So another accessibility point.
So no, it's been great. We're going to see continued progress. Everyone, you will see me at AIBC in Malta. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. And yes, feedback. I hear the feedback. We will look at doing the next SafeMoon Sunday on a different platform, so we don't run into these same issues again. So everyone, thank you for your patience while we work through the technical difficulties regarding this Twitter space. But we heard you. We heard the feedback. We'll get that done.
And I'll be. I was going to say I'm going to be on a plane too, probably tomorrow, as long as the COVID test is negative. So I'll be flying out of Thailand and flying back to the States. So might be off Twitter for a day.
So a lot of great progress moving forward. I'll see you guys at AIBC on the 17th. I should have my keynote. Thank you, everyone. We are SafeMoon. We are family. Thank you for another SafeMoon Sunday. Bye-bye.